What if a 225-passenger plane lost its heading mid-flight? In the vast skies thousands of feet above the Earth, commercial aircraft operate with extreme precision. But what would happen if that precision suddenly failed? Imagine a fully loaded airliner carrying 225 passengers suddenly losing its heading mid-flight. No, not an engine failure or a cabin emergency, but something subtler and possibly more dangerous. The aircraft drifts off its planned direction with no immediate correction. What would happen next? Let's dive into this high-stakes scenario and explore the science, the systems, and the potential consequences behind a heading loss in a modern passenger jet. What is heading in aviation? To understand the gravity of this situation, we first need to understand what heading means in aviation. Simply put, heading refers to the direction an aircraft's nose is pointed, measured in degrees from magnetic north, 0 degrees being north, 98 degrees east, 188 degrees south, and 278 degrees west. Pilots constantly adjust heading using autopilot systems or manual controls to stay on their planned flight path. Losing heading doesn't necessarily mean the plane turns upside down or starts diving, but it means the aircraft is no longer going where it's supposed to. How could a plane lose its heading? There are several reasons why a plane could veer off course. 1. Autopilot malfunction. If the flight management computer or autopilot system encounters a glitch, the plane may start turning without pilot input. 2. Instrument failure. Heading indicators or gyroscopes could malfunction, misleading the pilots. 3. Magnetic interference. Strong electromagnetic interference can distort magnetic heading readings. 4. Pilot disorientation. In rare cases, human error or spatial disorientation could cause pilots to unknowingly deviate from course. Imagine this happening at 35,000 feet while crossing the Atlantic or the Pacific. There's no road, no landmarks, just open sky and a reliance on instruments. Immediate consequences in the cockpit. As soon as the aircraft begins to drift off course, modern flight control systems will attempt to alert the crew. Alarms might sound. The heading indicator will begin to differ from the planned course on the navigation screen. If the pilots don't catch it in time, the plane might begin a slow arc in the wrong direction, subtle enough that passengers wouldn't feel anything. But over 10 minutes, a few degrees off could become dozens. In an hour, the aircraft could be hundreds of miles off course. In most cases, the pilots will attempt to disconnect autopilot, verify their instruments, and manually reorient the aircraft using alternate navigation systems like GPS or inertial navigation systems, INS. What happens to air traffic control? Air traffic controllers, ATC, would notice a deviation from the flight path on their radar. They would immediately attempt to contact the flight crew and issue new headings to correct the problem. But if communication is lost or delayed, over oceanic routes where radio contact is limited, the situation becomes far more serious. In these regions, separation between aircraft is carefully maintained. A plane that drifts off course risks entering another aircraft's path. This is why oceanic and polar flights have strict procedures for position reporting every few minutes. Potential dangers of lost heading. 1. Mid-air collisions. Though rare, deviation into another plane's path could be catastrophic. 2. Fuel mismanagement. Planes calculate fuel loads based on known distances. An unexpected heading change could lead to fuel exhaustion before reaching an alternate airport. 3. Entering restricted or hostile airspace. A lost heading over the wrong region could trigger a military response, especially near borders or no-fly zones. before. Weather hazards: a straying from a planned route might lead the plane into turbulence, thunderstorms, or jet streams. Real-life cases. There have been real incidents where heading loss played a role. One of the most notable was Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, which veered off its scheduled path and disappeared. Still one of aviation's greatest mysteries. Another case was Air France Flight 447, where a stall and confusion over flight instruments led to tragedy. Though not purely a heading issue, it illustrates how instrument loss and disorientation can spiral out of control. How modern aviation prevents this. Today's airliners are equipped with multiple redundancies, triple redundant flight management systems, multiple GPS receivers, ground tracking via ADS-B and radar, manual dead reckoning in emergencies. Airlines train pilots for loss of navigation scenarios using simulators. They rehearse exactly what to do if heading, GPS, or all instruments fail. In addition, most commercial aircraft now use satellite-based navigation and are tracked in near real time. Even if something goes wrong, flight crews have layers of backup. Final thoughts. Losing heading mid-flight in a 225-passenger aircraft is not just a matter of turning the wheel back to center. It's a potentially dangerous situation with real-world consequences. Yet, thanks to modern technology, rigorous training, and intelligent design, aviation has become incredibly safe. But still, the sky is vast, and when you're flying at 500 miles per hour, even a small mistake can become a major deviation in just minutes. So the next time you fly, just remember hundreds of systems are silently working together to keep you heading in the right direction. Would you like this adapted into a voice-over script or visual storyboard for your YouTube video?